Ayo, what is up everyone? It is the Alpha J of the Alpha J Show, and last week we did a top 20 best cartoons that I've reviewed, and now this week we will be doing a top 20 worst cartoons that I've reviewed. Same criteria as last time, basically any review from episode 50 and earlier count, so let's just get into it.
Drop it.
Number 20, SpongeBob, Keep Bikini Bottom Beautiful.
Some people never learn.
Now this one was from my big top 10 how I'd write episode. I didn't go into too much depth on each of the cartoons. I gave a general outline for each of them. For this particular entry, the reason why it made the list is because of the police officer primarily. I found his performance to be extremely annoying. Even though Squidward wins in the end, it doesn't justify the episode being so bleak and meaningless. This is another Squidward vs. Squilliam episode, and just like with House Fancy, I am not entertained for the 11 minutes it gives.
Drop it.
Number 19, Teen Titans Go! Power Moves, my 29th review.
Dude, you're doing power moves with Robin now?
Don't take it personally. We just make a better team, 'cause you're lame!
Whatever, dude.
I really didn't like the portrayal of Robin and Cyborg's relationship. Also, the jabs that Robin took towards Beast Boy make this quite unwatchable. Not to mention the lazy animation, although some of the songs are good. However, unlike SpongeBob, people don't go out of their way to document the songs on Teen Titans Go unless it's that one song that I can never get away from. Overall, the episode has a lot of work that needs to be done. However, it's not too far on this list because there's a lot of episodes that are just much more awful. However, this entry is very low on the list because there are just some cartoons that I've reviewed that have much deeper problems.
Drop it.
Number 18, SpongeBob, A Pal for Gary.
Gary! You put Fluffy down right now. Bad boy Gary. Oh, hello. Are you a friend of Fluffy? What's going on? Okay, now this is starting to hurt.
Again, coming from that large how I'd write, this particular episode gets to me because it has blatant hypocrisy in it. And that's one thing that I don't really like in modern animation. Having SpongeBob see the monster that's supposed to be hidden in order for the story to work breaks the story. And the fact that they don't care enough to go back and rewrite it makes this entry deserving to be on the list.
Drop it.
Number 17, SpongeBob, Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy.
You seen anybody in these parts hauling a fur pelt?
Look at a naked chipmunk.
Chipmunk?
And speaking of bad SpongeBob episodes, this one is bad for a very unique reason. The town's portrayal makes me very uncomfortable, and I've seen it before in episodes like Squirrel Jokes, Stuck in the Ringer, Sun Bleach, Little Yellow Book, and it really does confuse me. Is Sandy really accepted in the community? Should I even be questioning that? But besides the portrayal of Sandy, the episode is trying to tell two stories at the same time, but doesn't want to flesh any of them out in order to find what's entertaining about either of the two. So we're left with two half-baked ideas that, when added up, make a very mediocre episode.
Drop it.
Number 16, Teen Titans Go! TV Night. This episode is the epitome of laziness. Sure, Robot Chicken has made a success off of showing random skits, but that was their style. Teen Titans Go style is not random skits, and somehow in their latest season, at the time of recording this, decided to do just that. It didn't work at all. The references would fly over anyone's head because they tried their hardest to not show any references to any past franchise or any other franchise in order for you to feel informed about this particular series. And did I mention that the humor is just plain annoying?
Drop it.
Number 15, Teen Titans Go, The Fourth Wall.
Look upon your previous incarnation!
That looks like us, but better!
So just like how the Angry Beavers made it onto my best list, The Fourth Wall makes it onto my worst list, because these are the best and worst examples of breaking the fourth wall. I feel as though the particular writers, aka the creators of the show, seem to be misled on the true criticisms of Teen Titans Go. No one really wants the show to be classier or be of this high art. They just want it to be good, and there's many ways to go about doing it, but the fact that they choose to attack critics and have such lackluster episodes prove that they don't really care about improving, they just care about silencing the people who point out that they're doing just the opposite.
Drop it.
Number 14, SpongeBob Waiting.
Yes, I'm okay.
Oh, for a sec,
You ruined my free toy!
I'm sorry. Oh, maybe if you just...
Unlike the other entries on this list, this particular episode doesn't give me a reaction at all, and I'm sure many of you don't really have a big reaction to this episode. And that's pretty much, to me, one of the worst forms of art. At least you could say with other episodes, they make you angry, they make you disappointed. This one doesn't make you feel anything, which means that not only is it bad, but it's worthless. And that kind of ruins the legacy on a minuscule amount, but the amount is still there. But it is a short, so I did give it at least that much slack.
Drop it.
Number 13, My Life as a Teenage Robot, I Was a Preschool Dropout. I'm kinda glad that I pointed out one of the worst episodes of the series. This episode has giant hypocrisy, the teacher was horrible, and I would rather listen to any of the pop garbage that's on the radio now than the song that was in the episode. In fact, I would rather search on YouTube the high frequency noise. You know, the type of noise you get from microphones and speakers. Yeah, I would rather listen to that than the song that's in this episode. It was that bad. The story could have been improved, it did have a tiny bit of potential, but it was a swing and a miss.
Drop it.
Number 12, SpongeBob One Course Meal.
Hi, Plankton. What you doing laying in the middle of the road?
Go away, cheesehead. Can't you see I'm trying to get run over? In fact, better yet, just step on me as hard as you can. Would you do that for me?
Now, I don't really believe that One Course Meal is the worst episode of SpongeBob. I don't really care too much about the suicide scene. Now, yes, it's bad, but it didn't evoke a strong emotion in me because I had to be pointed out that it was a suicide scene, so I can't really take that angle. However, there's other problems in the episode that doesn't even have to deal with that particular scene. Krabs tortures Plankton on a level that isn't justified. All Plankton did in the beginning of the episode was try to take the formula, like he does in many other episodes. And generally, Mr. Krabs responds by just throwing him back at his own restaurant. The fact that he went out of his way to put Plankton in a state where he wanted to get ran over by a bus, I could see why other people would find it really dark and disturbing.
Drop it.
Number 11, The Mighty Be Catatonic. There was nothing really spooky about this Halloween episode, except the fact that this particular series aired for as long as it did. I thought that I was a fan of the Mighty Be, and I enjoyed it when I was a kid. But growing up, this is one of the series that I just can't go back to and enjoy. That's not to say that there isn't good episodes in this particular series. This is just not one of them. In fact, this is far from it. I don't like the jump cuts. The story tends to meander on certain points, and I'm not sure if the episode wants me to treat Bessie as a cat or a human in a cat costume, because it shows evidence for both. I just don't want to be confused when I watch cartoons, you know?
Drop it.
Number 10, SpongeBob Smooth Jazz at the Bikini Bottom.
Oh, please, please, let me see you. Please, please, please.
Get up, man. Have some dignity.
This would probably be higher on the list, but I decided to be fair. Now, yes, the particular scene with Patrick eating the backstage passes is one of the most infuriating scenes in the entire series, but that's just one particular scene. Outside of that particular scene, it is below average, and I believe that this is worse than One Course Meal, for example, because they just couldn't put Patrick being an idiot aside to create a good episode. They just had to make jokes about him being an idiot. And I feel like wasted potential is much more disappointing than no potential at all. I'm looking at you waiting.
Drop it.
Number 9, SpongeBob Squid Baby.
And oh boy.
Are you out of your ever-loving mind? You can't change that baby out here in front of the customers. Take him in back where the food is prepared.
There's a lot of SpongeBob on this list, can't you tell? I am not a big fan of violence towards infants. There is this one episode in Happy Tree Friends that I feel very uncomfortable watching. Every other episode of Happy Tree Friends, besides the one about copyright, I'm perfectly fine watching. But for some reason, the scene of the baby being somewhat trapped in a tub or sink of hot water really does get to me. So you can reasonably see why Squid Baby wouldn't be too high on my favorites list.
Drop it.
Number 8, Family Guy, Hot Pocket Dial.
I want Lois. She's perfect. I've loved her for years.
Glenn, is this true?
Wait a minute, how the hell did you get that recording, Peter?
You pocket dialed me, you bastard!
Now, although I reviewed this episode pretty much over a year ago, there's still a lot of questions that Family Guy is yet to answer. They decided to throw away years of character development just to make this one episode that doesn't really make sense in the long run. They also had to have the beginning few scenes with the toothpick in order to set up the rest of the episode, then throw the toothpick development away, when they simply could have did, well, what I said in the review. Overall, this is just one of the many, many, many bad episodes in modern Family Guy.
Drop it.
Number 7, SpongeBob Pet Sitter Pat.
Check it out. Doesn't that look fun?
Now yes, Pet Sitter Pat I think is worse than Smooth Jazz at the Bikini Bottom, Squid Baby, and One Course Meal. For one particular character only, Patrick. I don't like it when the series tries to imply that this character, who we've grown up with for years, is too dangerous to hang around the people that he so-called cares about. Also the fact that they have Gary act like a pet in this particular episode, whereas Gary acted more like a kid in A Power for Gary. The difference being that in A Power for Gary, he was a lot more quicker to the punch and a lot more creative. In Pet Sitter Pat, he behaves more like a pet, running away, attacking once, and somehow forgetting it all in the end. Yeah, this episode had a lot of problems.
Drop it.
Number 6, Teen Titans Go, Books.
I hope this doesn't do anything to diminish your love of reading.
Out of all of the episodes on this list, books just has to be the laziest. I'm pretty sure with a month in Adobe Flash, I can make books. I'm pretty sure in a month in Adobe Flash, you can create books. I'm pretty sure any kindergartner in the world can create Teen Titans Go books. Not to mention that the ending scene was one of the most insulting scenes that I've ever seen in an uncritical manner. This is not something that you have to look deeply into. You can see the laziness of the particular animators.
Drop it.
Number 5, SpongeBob, Yours, Mine, and Mine.
Have you met my new toy?
Don't you mean our new toy?
Our new toy?
It came from the meal that we're sharing.
Sharing?
Remember, sharing is the most wonderful feeling in the world. Like dancing with a magical seahorse through an enchanted kelp garden. Remember those words, SpongeBob?
I didn't say that.
I'll try to keep this brief because I do have an extra discussion on this particular episode, but Patrick's behavior in this is the worst in the entire series. And yes, while this is the worst SpongeBob episode I have seen, there is still 4 cartoons on this list that are worse. Buckle up.
Drop it.
Number 4, Fairly Oddparents, The Big Fairy Scare Share.
Everything about Chloe is perfect. Why does she even need fairies?
There is a reason for everything, Turner, except for fanny packs. Just have the guts to carry a man purse!
You didn't think I forgot about this. Where to start on this? I talked about this particular episode for over 50 minutes, and I still have tons and tons to say about it. I don't like Chloe. I don't like the reason she's given fairies. I don't like the new humor. I don't like the new animation. I don't like how they're throwing away the rules that they built for years. I don't like Timmy's new character. I don't like how everyone's yelling. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of problems with this particular episode, and it comes from, unfortunately, the worst cartoon season of last year at the time of recording.
Drop it.
Number 3, Teen Titans Go, the bottle episode.
Can't believe you just flashed back to old memories.
They weren't our full memories, just clips.
That is so lazy. I wanted to sing a new song, have a new adventure.
Oh, look at Mr. Moneybags over here. Those things are expensive.
But we've been doing great. We can afford a little change of scenery.
You would think.
Now, this particular episode probably wouldn't have gotten under my skin if it wasn't for 2 major things that they did. Number 1, it is a giant clip show, and they're blatant about it. It's not even like the clips that they use most of the time required a lot of effort. And the other major problem that they have is that they're just so smug about it. They provide their commentary towards how they have an aggressive schedule, they don't get paid as much, and they're forced to make episodes like this. Yet they signed the contract. They knew what they were getting into. And I will not give them any sympathy for running out of creative ideas. You reap what you sow.
Drop it.
Number 2, Teen Titans Go Gorilla.
Man, you really let things get out of hand.
Me? How's this my fault?
Because somewhere along the line, you got soft, and it left you vulnerable.
That doesn't explain why you guys are following him when clearly I'm a better leader.
We have no choice. He's the alpha now. And being alpha is more important than actually being good at anything.
Just like with the Big Fairy Scare Share, Gorilla is what made me turn on the series. Not necessarily as a whole, but just as an active fan and advocate for it. Gorilla is very hypocritical. It tries to tell the story of a leader losing his leadership, but instead it tells a story that you don't really have leadership, and that the people that you supposedly lead switch their logic faster than the booting time for Windows 10. I think the main thing that I don't understand about this episode is what it had to do with gorillas at all. They could have used any animal and it could have worked just fine. Sure, you would have had to change a few jokes, but at the end of the day, Gorilla was a poor excuse for trying to justify testing Robin's limits. And watching episodes like this makes me really happy that later in the series, Robin gets his just desserts by crippling Beast Boy with his staff. It makes me want to play that particular scene on loop.
Drop it.
And the worst cartoon that I had to review. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it is. It's Fairly Oddparents Girly Squirrely. That's pretty much obvious.
Oh, look! A bubbling brook! Let's see how deep it is. Oh, what do you know? It's highly corrosive stomach acid.
What can I say about this that I haven't said in the 2 videos that I focused that particular episode on? It's a terrible excuse to try to justify putting Chloe as the main character. Because of what they did in previous episodes, there's tons of inconsistencies based on previous episodes. There's tons of inconsistencies based within the episode. And they just pull things out of thin air to try to justify moving the plot forward. There's repeating frames very blatantly, and it just shows that Butch Hartman kinda didn't really care about the series too much at season 10. I have also stopped watching season 10 as a whole after watching episodes like Girly Squirrely. It also made me lose faith in Bunsen is a Beast. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Now, what I've noticed about this list is that there's a lot of SpongeBob and Teen Titans Go. And yeah, Fairly Oddparents did make it a lot higher on the list. And these particular series, I do want to cut back on. It's not so much that I've made a lot of videos on them. It's just that the videos that I did make on them happen to have a lot of episodes jam-packed into it. I do plan to cut back on these series as the year goes on. I do have a few more in each to do, and seeing as now Fairly Oddparents and Teen Titans Go are on their final stages in terms of annoying everyone, I don't think I have to worry about them anytime soon. And as far as SpongeBob, it'll most likely be on the back burner because everyone knows SpongeBob, and it tends to fail in different ways. And as long as it's Nickelodeon's cash cow, it will always be in the public eye, so why not critique it from time to time? I really hope with this year going forward that other series make the list, and not just have 1 or 2 series dominate the entire list. But hey, what can you do? Because of my pretty scarce schedule lately, I do want to give some honorable mentions before I go. Here are some episodes that didn't make the cut. Teen Titans Go Spice Game, SpongeBob Boating Buddies, Pickle and Peanut Cast Buddies, SpongeBob Shellback Shenanigans, and King of the Hill Death in Texas. Not to mention Teen Titans Go Vegetables, and SpongeBob the Fishbowl. Let me know what are the worst things that you think I've reviewed on this channel. Put them in list form or not, I tend to read all the comments. Now join me next time when I do a versus on SpongeBob, the same series that I'm trying to do less of. I guess you can't win them all. Anyways, I hope your time was well spent, and Alpha out.